What's up, everybody? Welcome to Last Man Standing, the Circa Survivor podcast. This is episode 17. My name is Tony Farmer. He is Ryan Hogue, last man standing in the 2003 NFL Draft, Mr. Irrelevant, drafted by the Raiders. We're here to get you set up for tomorrow's action. Should be a fun one for those left in Circa Survivor. And our chat is already blowing up. One of our Circa Survivor folks that is still alive, OG Fat Panda, feel free to reach out, buddy. Let us know how you're feeling going into tomorrow. He's given us an update, letting us know that before we even tell you the selection counts, the guy who has 6 left in Circa Survivor, the guy that we're all envious of, he split them up this week. He didn't go all 6. He went 4 on Chargers, 2 on Broncos. We're going to go ahead and give you the rundown where all the selection numbers are for week 8. Before we do that, though, Ryan, where are you and what are you up to, brother?
Yeah, I'm in Vegas right now, right outside a little pizza spot. We're having a fan appreciation for Raiders fans for our big upcoming division battle tomorrow against the Chiefs. I'm here with a couple of the radio hosts of Raider Nation, and but I stepped outside because it was too loud. Standing room only in there, Tony.
Damn, man. Well, I appreciate you joining us, even though you obviously have a lot going on tonight. So thanks for taking the time. And by the way, we're not going to do an analysis, of course, of all the games because we already did that. So if you haven't seen our last episode that we taped on Wednesday, maybe Tuesday, I think it was Wednesday, go ahead and check out episode 16 on YouTube for Last Man Standing. But Ryan, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and put the selection count up. One piece of news that stands out to me right away is that one person was on the Vikings. So we're now down from 214 people down to 213 people. So if you're still alive in Circa Survivor, always nice to see that some people, or one person in this case, went down on Thursday and the field is a little bit smaller. We got the Broncos at the top, 46.3%. Next, we got the Lions, 24.3% of entries are on the Lions. 20 are trusting the Chargers against the Saints. I'm a little surprised by that. That number's up there. Monday Night Football, you got 16 on the Steelers. 7 people are not worried, Ryan, about Tua going out with another concussion in the Dolphins game. They're not worried at all. They're trusting the Dolphins there. What stands out to you, Ryan? And can you remind us, I think the Jets would have been your pick, you said, if you were still alive in Circa. Is that correct?
Yeah, the Jets would have been my pick. I'm actually surprised only 7 people were on that. I really feel as though, as I mentioned in the last episode, it really is a must win. And, teams have said that oftentimes this year, but for a team that's kind of all in on the season with the Jets and the trades they've made, they have Hassan Reddick coming back. Aaron Rodgers isn't one to lose multiple games in a row, especially multiple times in a season. Their offense is just getting together. You could see that it had glimpses, and their defense, usually finds a way. I can't see them losing this week, even though it's a division rival. I think Dolphins are a spicy pick. I like the fact that 7 people went with the Dolphins. The problem is the last game Tua played, he was awful prior to getting hurt and threw, I think, 3 or 4 interceptions in that game. And really, I thought they were a better team than Buffalo going into that week. And but I do believe they have far too much talent to be as bad as they are record-wise. But, the Cardinals, as you have talked about, they're one of those teams that any given Sunday, they're going to show up. So,
Ryan, when you look at this list here, do you see the smaller numbers to the right of the percentage?
I do.
That's how many people had those teams remaining. So only 20 people had the Jets remaining. So I think that's a big reason why that number is so low. But even with that in mind, I was still expecting like 16, 17, 18 people. I'm like, in my mind, if you got the Jets, this is the week to use the Jets against the Patriots and hope one of these big dogs go down. We got some comments coming in here. Let's see what we got. This one here from John C. A lot of people on the Lions. Yeah, you're not kidding, John C., especially like these numbers don't surprise you at all if it's not Circa. Like 52 people on the Lions, big favorites here. DeAndre Hopkins just got traded. They just traded away a linebacker. There's some whispers maybe this locker room isn't doing so well. But because it's a Thanksgiving team,
yeah,
this is 52 people drawing a line in the sand and saying, you know what? My plans are different on Thanksgiving. I'm committing myself to either probably the Cowboys or the Packers against the Dolphins. And now with Tua back, This is making me think the Cowboys are going to be the most selected team for Thanksgiving, and I think that's absolutely fascinating. Other comments we got rolling in. Bob says Ryan is hiding. Ryan's just around the corner here from his activity. John says, I would have picked the Jets, but already used them. John, clarify, are you still alive in Circa Survivor, or are you talking about a local Survivor pool? Either way, congratulations on making it this far.
I was surprised, Tony, to see one person that picked the Rams. I mean, to pick an underdog, like, against a good Minnesota team like that takes some stones. Hats off to them. I do like the person that picked the Chiefs. I don't think that's a terrible pick, because even though they are obviously playing on all the things, like survive in advance, and if your plan is to try to win it all, maybe that's not the smartest. But if your plan is to make it to week 12 and then sell, like, that's a really good pick.
Yeah, fair point. By the way, congrats to John C. So we have 2 people at least that we know of that are still alive in Circa watching this show right now. So big props and big congrats to you guys. Yeah, interesting take there on the Chiefs, Ryan. I guess the point that I would just make is that, remember, if you do burn your holiday teams early, you may not fetch as much for your entry because people may not value it as much. But I get your point from, like, just a survive standpoint. Chiefs going up against the Raiders in a game that they may be a little spicy and a little angry because of some shenanigans during training camp. So I think
on the Bengals. I think that Bengals game is a true coin flip. So to see
Higgins
on that,
it may be out now. Did you see that?
Higgins, yeah, what happened? He
got hurt in practice Friday. I don't remember if it was hamstring or what it was, but he hurt himself on Friday, and I'm reading on Twitter he's highly questionable now.
If it's soft tissue or the same hamstring, he'll be out for 2 weeks.
That's a tough loss. Hey, and we saw what the Bengals looked like earlier this season. They had some other issues too, but we saw them when they weren't at full strength at the wide receiver position, and they didn't look too good. So those 2 people got to be sweating big time with that news. How about only 6 on the Ravens? Like, I'm a guy that likes the Browns this week. A lot of people like the Browns this week because it's Jameis. But with that point spread being up around 8 or 9, I'm still surprised that there weren't more people on the Ravens. And if you're one of the people that took the Ravens, you've got to love this because you're getting good expected value here, great expected value here, knowing that there's only 5 other people on this game with you.
Tony,
thoughts on taking the Ravens?
I'm going to interrupt you for a second, Tony, and say that you've been on the Browns twice this year. Once was against the Raiders, and the other time was a couple weeks later. And I've laughed in your face both times. I'm laughing in your face now because the Browns with Jameis Winston will be a disaster.
Well, we should do a side bet on the spread then.
Why not straight up? You believe they're going to win?
No, I don't believe they're going to win. I said I like them on the side. I like them with the points, not to win the game straight up. But yeah, still only 6 people on the Ravens. That is a lot lower than I thought it was going to be. 16 on the Steelers Monday night. They're going to be rooting for carnage on Sunday and hoping they can get through on Monday night. That's another fascinating one. Going back to your point, Ryan, about someone using the Rams, I wonder, I believe it's 2 different entries, one on the Vikings, one on the Rams. I wonder if that's someone who had 2 entries or 2 friends that made an agreement. We may never know, but it's possible that something like that, a split, was going on Thursday. Or it's just someone with some balls and someone with some stones that took the underdog Rams there as 3 or 3.5 point favorites or underdogs in that spot. 2 on your Texans, like you did, Ryan, to get by in Circa Survivor week 1, Texans against the Colts. That one I think could be precarious. You may disagree with me, but the Texans have 3 injured starters on defense, 2 linebackers and a safety. And the Colts are getting healthy. They get their 2 best players back, in my opinion, in Jonathan Taylor and DeForest Buckner. So Colts are getting healthier. Texans have some injury concerns. Those 2 people could be in trouble as well. Ryan, here, go ahead.
Is Anthony Richardson still starting?
He is.
Okay. Well, then Houston's are good. Houston's good.
Ryan, here's my question for you. As you look at this board, tell me the team that goes down with the most entries. Does that question make sense?
I'm gonna say
yeah.
Dolphins. I'm gonna say
The Dolphins. So
Yep.
you think it's a pretty low entry count elimination this week, and you think the top guys get by?
I think we could lose 12 people this week.
All right, I'm going to make your job harder. Take the Dolphins out. You have to pick someone from the top 4. If you had to pick someone from the top 4, who would go out?
I will go with the Steelers play Monday night against who again?
Giants.
And Chargers?
Saints.
Steelers.
Steelers. Be precarious. I will say this. I like the Broncos a lot. I'm in some mini survivor pools and I'm on the Broncos. The Panthers are getting healthier on defense. Like a lot of those guys that have been out the last couple of weeks that have made that defense look really, really, really bad are coming back. But you can't like Bryce Young in this spot. And we talked about this in our last show. What was interesting to me about the Broncos, I think people that took the Broncos, they knew that this selection count was going to be like 45 or 50%. They knew it, but they said, you know what? Looking ahead, there's not many spots I feel great about taking the Broncos going forward. So even though I know it's a high selection count and I'm not going to be zigging while other people are zagging, I'm just going to swallow it and take the Broncos because I like them this week. And they're average to mediocre team, and it's an opportunity for me to use up an average to mediocre team. We've got a couple other comments here. Bob is saying congrats, I think, to our 2 people who are still alive in Circa Survivor. We are all rooting for you guys. Single entry left, took Vikings. Woo! That person just had 1 left and took Vikings. My goodness. Higgins is out. I thought he was doubtful, but that's good to know that he's completely out. Ryan, what is your big, bold prediction, whether it's Survivor related or not? Give me a bold prediction for NFL football Sunday tomorrow.
Oh, wow. I think that I think the Chiefs take it personal against the Raiders and they win by 30.
By 30? Oh, that is bold. That's juicy. I like that, man. I like that a lot.
I think, for them to be dumb and run their mouths about Patrick Mahomes, I think he's the type of guy like Brady, right, that collects those receipts and he is going to try to make them pay. I could see like a 35-7 type of game.
I like it. All right, I'm going to say...
I don't like it, and I won't say that aloud because there's people behind me that would probably mob me, but that stays between us. Oh, wait, we're live. Never mind.
I love it. Ryan, if you're just tuning in, is outside of a Raiders event that he was just attending, so he has to be careful what he says there. Ryan, how about blowout potential in this Dolphins game? They've only scored 70 points this year. Imagine the money that you could have gotten on which team was going to score the least amount of points in the NFL. Dolphins have scored 70 points in 7 games so far this year. And it's not just because Tua's out, because they didn't look great when Tua was completely healthy either. I do think that there is a good chance the Dolphins win by 14-21 tomorrow. Mike McDaniel has a chance to prepare off this bye week, and the Cardinals defense is bad. We've seen them giving up like 30-plus points a game 3 or 4 times this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins walked all over it. But again, I don't like it in Survivor because their quarterback could go down.
I thought Dolphins played last week and lost to the Colts.
No, Dolphins are off a bye. Let me see.
No, they were off a bye last week.
Am I mistaken?
Yeah, they played the Colts last week. They played the Colts last week. I think they lost like 17-7 to the Colts or something like that last week.
Let's see here. People in the chat are probably like, duh. Yeah, you're right. My bad.
Yeah. With that being said, I will say that, a lot of times when teams do things that are unique, right? And a lot of time that fly motion, right? Where Tariq starts in the slot as like the number 2 receiver or 3, and then he motions out wide to get kind of running start. Like that had been never seen before in the NFL. And that's really hard, especially when you have the fastest guy in the NFL running it. A year to prepare, like teams are starting to figure that out, right? And then you couple that with the fact that they didn't have their quarterback that throws it on time all the time, right? Dolphins beat you between the hashes, and when you don't have a quarterback that can complete those passes, and that new age, motion is getting figured out, like it's going to be harder. You got to recreate yourself every single week and every single year in the NFL, and the Dolphins have not done a good job. I mean, look at week 1, they should have lost. They beat Jacksonville. Week 2 was week 2 when they lost to Denver, or lost to Buffalo, and Tua got hurt, maybe, or week 3.
That sounds right. Yeah,
But
3.
yeah, I think it was the first Thursday night game. But so yeah, it's been an adjustment.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say on the Tua subject is, I also wonder if he's going to be a little more tentative to run. Is his concussion history going to be in the back of his mind, and will we see him scrambling less? If we do, dear God, I hope he slides a little bit more. That is for sure.
Yeah.
All right, all of our comments, we've gone through them all. I'm ready for football tomorrow. I wish I could fast forward and be ready for it already. I'll go ahead and let you go, Ryan, because it looks like you are re-entering the room.
I'm in territory now. I got to be Raiders. See you, buddy.
Love it. We'll take care, man. Have a good one. All right, best of luck, everybody. Have fun. Good luck to John. Good luck to OG Fat Panda. Have fun tomorrow, guys. Later.